Okay, I'm recording. Okay, great. So the very first step, I have to create multiple duplication of that. I hold Alt, click on the layer, grab it and move it up, and do that several times just to create the duplication. Why don't I just press Ctrl C and Ctrl T? Because when I do that, it moves the image for me. So I have to avoid that. So I just press Alt, grab the layer, move it up several times. Let's start with palette. Let's start with palette. So I select that, rename it to palette. This is how you. Okay. So except for palette, I have to get rid of everything. So probably I should get rid of these parts. Okay, let me do that one more time. You didn't see the error. I saw this error on the screen. So when you see that error, because your layer is not a regular layer, it doesn't apply those effects or those results for you. So in order to get rid of that, you have to create an empty regular layer. Select both of the layers at the same time. So select the first layer, press Ctrl, select the second layer, and press Ctrl E. So when you press Ctrl E, it merges these two layers for you. So when you select a non-regular layer and merge it with a regular layer, that layer becomes regular. So look at this layer, it's not a regular layer. I turn it on, I create an empty layer, I hold Ctrl to select both of them, I press Ctrl E. Now this one is regular. So let's get back to this one. I want to name it palette, so I have to grab everything else and get rid of them. So I grab my selection tool, select all of them, delete them. So now if you have selected the item but you don't want to get rid of this part, you want to get rid of the area that is outside of that, you have to press Ctrl Shift I. It reverses the selection for you. So whenever you have selected some part, you want to reverse that, you press Ctrl Shift I. Now for these parts, I want to get rid of the white part. So I click on this one, hold my mouse and select Magic Wand tool or Magic tool. Select the white part and press delete. Now I am done with the white part. I press Ctrl D to get rid of the selection. Zoom in. This is the part that you have to be more patient about that. At first I have to get rid of all these parts, so I grab the pen and I grab the eraser, get rid of these parts that I don't want to be in my painting. But because I don't want these spots to be there and I want to see them through animation, I have to grab my pen tool and fill these parts up. So in order to do that, I grab my pen tool, press Alt to get the color selection tool, click on the color I want to grab and fill these parts up. There is one more part I have to fill up, which is this part, because I want the brush to come up. So the brush is not there at first, so I want the brush to come up and after that I see the brush. So also I have to fill up this part. Now for the second layer, let's move it up. I want to do probably these scissors. So I rename it to scissor. I zoom out. I select my scissor. I press Command Shift I to reverse my selection and press delete. So now I get rid of everything except for my scissor. Press Ctrl D to get back to the mood that nothing is selected. Zoom in. I have to get rid of the white part, so I grab my magic tool, select the white part, press delete, press Ctrl D, select other white part, get rid of them. Now I have two parts of the scissor, but I want to animate the scissor like that, so I should have each part separately in one layer. So I have to duplicate this layer by holding Alt, duplicating the layer. I would name it scissor left, and I would name it scissor right. So for this one, I just keep this part, so I have to get rid of the other part. I grab the eraser and erase it, and definitely I have to fill up this part with pen. So I select my pen tool, hold Alt to grab the color. I grab the color, I make it smaller, and probably for this one it's better for me to, after filling up this part, to grab a more airbrush tool for my brush. So I change it to airbrush so it matches the other style of my animation. Now this is much better. So I go to eraser, change my eraser to airbrush 2, add flow and opacity. Now it's much better. I go back to my pen tool. I make it much smaller, so you can see that in the middle it is lighter, and on the edges it is darker. So I have to grab the color of the edges and design this part like the rest. Does that make sense? And I have to do the same thing for the right part, but before I go to the right part, I have to press Ctrl T to get to transition tool. You can see that there are some pixels here that I have missed. I haven't cleaned them, so this layer is not clean enough. So I press Enter to get rid of my transform tool. I use my eraser and get rid of the pixels I have missed here, and press Ctrl T one more time. Now it is clear. I have to check my palette to be sure it's clear. It is clear. Now let's do the scissor right part. For this one, I just have to get rid of the other part because this part is on top of the other part, so I'm not worried about filling it any part. Just maybe some pixels here I have to fill up. So having a clear and clean layer is essential for this assignment. So you have to spend good amount of time for separating your layers and having a clear layer. Again, I press Ctrl T. Definitely there are some pixels here I have missed. I have to get rid of them. So I grab my eraser, Ctrl T one more time. This is clean now. So now if I have these two layers in Photoshop, in After Effects, and if I want to add that animation of moving the blade of the scissor, now I can do that. Let's do a practice here. I select this one, press Ctrl T. This would be something I can animate in Photoshop. And definitely before doing the animation, you have to fix your anchor point. So this type of the animation I'm going to do in After Effects when I'm done. So I'm done with these two. I have to put this layer up. I want this layer to be the brush. So I said for the brush, I want this part to be separate. I want this part to be separate, and I also want the color to be separate. So let's create a shape of lasso tool around that. Press Ctrl Shift I again. I received the error because it's not a regular layer, so I create a new empty layer. I select both of them, press Ctrl E, so I merge them together now. I do the same process here. Command Shift I reverse the selection, get rid of the rest, Control or Command D. Now I have my brush in this layer. I select my magical tool, select the white part, get rid of it, press Ctrl D, grab the eraser, just get rid of these parts. Oops. Yeah, we just have to be patient in this part. So for this one, before I duplicate that, I press Ctrl T. This looks clean, which is fine. I duplicate that because for this brush, I need that for three layer, one layer here, one layer here, and one layer here. So I duplicate that 2 times. I hold Alt, click, grab, release. This one I would rename it to brush. What is the call? What is this part of the handle? Okay. Handle. So I should get rid of the rest. This is brush. What do you call it? Hair? Can you spell that? Brussels. Okay. So I get rid of that, but because I want the paint to be in separate layer, I have to paint this part in black. So I select this part, I grab or I can do something better. So whenever you select a layer, if you hold Control and click on that layer, it will select all the pixels in that layer for you. I want all the pixels in this layer to be colored as black. So I hold Control, I click on the layer in the layer panel. Now it selects all these pixels for me. I select my brush, I hold Alt, select the color, and I color this up. This is the fastest way to coloring all the part. I press Ctrl D. Now I'm done with this part. Now I just have to keep the color. Brush red. So again, I grab the eraser, get rid of everything. I grab my magic tool, click on the black part, get rid of that. Press Ctrl D to get rid of the selection. Clean my layer, and now there is a small black line here. So I click and hold Control. Click on the layer. Now all the pixels are selected. Hold Alt. Select my pen tool. Hold Alt to grab the color and now color all parts. Control D, that looks fine. Press Control T, that looks clean. Now I have my brush selected properly. When I want to import that into After Effects, the brush color, the brush red color should be the child of the brush Bristol? What was the name? Bristles. So the red should be the child of bristle and bristle should be the child of handle. This is how you should animate that. So whenever you want to animate, so let's imagine that the red part is the child of the bristle. So if I rotate this part, the red part would rotate with that and I can easily have a small animation for the bristle part. Is that clear? Is there any question about that? So this is how you are supposed to separate your layers. So whenever you separate your layers, whenever you decide about your animation, you shouldn't just separate that layer, but you should fill up the layers behind that. So if I'm going to have the red part separated, definitely I have to fill the remaining part with the black color in the layer behind that, which is brush bristles. And it would be, for example, the same for the palette. If I'm going to make the colors appear one by one in the palette, I have to fill up their part with the same color in the palette. Does that make sense? So while you were doing the, I think it was, if I can find the, oops, I couldn't find that. The soldier with the sword. Yeah, for some reason I couldn't find that. So when you separate the elbow and the sword, you have to fill out the remaining part in the previous or in the layers that is behind it, because when you rotate the hand, we don't want to see empty space there. We don't want to see nothing there. You have to fill it up. Does that make sense? So for now,